pumped about that, because I just feel that's going to give me I the time to put to what I need to put it to, and I feel that I haven't put as much emphasis, and I've been at my Karen 2.0 as much as I should be, and it came pretty um, pretty evident, and through just I don't know, through dreams and other things that I've had. So I've blocked off some pretty precious time to get some things done. So
Good for you.
yeah.
That's
So
amazing. Congratulations.
yeah. Well, you know, I was just I did you don't you get into the busyness of it. And Michelle, I don't know if you found this or if it's just me because I'm just still shifting a lot, but you know what, when I was in Florida, it was the main focus, right? And then when I got back here and in the busyness of things, it kind of went a little awry, and yeah. So, but now I'm back. So
So
I,
I love that you're opening up our conversation with this because that was part of my question to everybody. So I
of
think,
course it was.
of course it was. I'm like, oh, that's actually a nice little segue. I don't even need to like team my own self up for that one. So that's brilliant. Michelle, question, and even Denise, because I know um you have like Michelle, you're full on like family goals as well. You're like literally in with your grandkids constantly. Denise, you also you're teaching yoga and I don't know if you're doing your other work still. Are you doing that as
Yeah,
well
she's
too?
busy too.
Yeah, so you're doing that work too. So it's like maybe I had a dream that you stopped doing that. I think it must have been a
Okay,
dream.
wait a second. What work are you talking about?
The admin work.
Oh no, I don't do that anymore.
Okay,
No,
good. I was like,
sorry.
maybe I had a dream. It felt really real. Okay, so you're doing the yoga work and and then your
Yep.
business,
Yeah, the mindset, the movement,
the doTERRA.
healing, and doTERRA.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, but
Yeah,
I mean, all those other
all
things for your
frequency
business.
based.
So you've got your
Yeah.
business and the yoga, which is yes. Okay. So this is like the perfect group to, have that conversation with, right? And I love that you even said, Karen, before I hit record, that you're all about multiple streams of income. However, and like all about having multiple goals, right? I've got my health goal, I've got my money goal, I've got my family goal, I've got my spiritual goal, right? You've got all these different goals. Um, but it's time to tap into that 2.0 version while doing all of those things. Okay? So, and from day one in this journey of partnering together as coaches, always just know, you guys, I have been every single one of you, I'm like, because I've coached you myself, I'm like, I know that you would be amazing messengers of this work. Okay. I know this. I know it like I know it like I know it. We study it in study club. We read it in all the books that we do in book club. Um, we talk about consistency, persistence, taking action. It's not just like waving the magic wand and poof, here it is. No matter what anybody tells you on social media. Okay? There's people that I follow that I'm just like, they literally are like, I have the magic wand to make your business go poof, right? And trust me, I have for sure bought into some of these systems. And some of them have given results, some of them have not. Okay. Your business requires dedication and it requires consistency. I was actually just talking to a friend of mine, had a baby, her first baby, I don't know, 6 months ago. And she was really like fit pre having her baby. And I remember going to visit her after she had her baby, and she was like, the last 9 months I've been, working out, but like I'm just not, and it's a mix of like my hormones mixed with the fact that I just stretched out and everything shifted. And she understood like on a logical level. And she goes, I don't even know how to get back there. And I said, same thing I say to you guys. Persistence, holding the vision, and consistency, no matter what. No matter what. That's all I said to her. I said, honestly, and that has to come from within you. I said, you start leaning on everybody else to motivate you, you're not going to do it, because now you have, for her, like you have the perfect excuse to not do any of it. Oh, I haven't slept. Oh, my boobs hurt. Oh, my whatever. Like, whatever. I don't know. There's so many different reasons on what would make you not go and or eat that way or exercise or move your body or whatever. And so she took it, and I was chatting with her the other day, and she goes, 6 months postpartum, she goes, it's no joke. And she goes, it's definitely been a roller coaster, but she goes, I can definitely see how I could get myself my own way. But she goes, one thing I've done consistently is I have been mindful of what I put into my body. She goes, because I'm literally feeding off my body. So she goes, I've only been putting things in it that are serving me. And she goes, I'm moving my body every day. And she goes, eventually, initially it was just going for walks every day. And then it was, oh, I'm going to start lifting weights again. And oh, she knows what to do. She's been working out for 30 years, right? So she knows what to do. But she goes, it was the consistency. She goes, I made time for it every day, even if it was like 20 minutes one day. She goes, every day I made time for it. And some days I would give myself like a full 2 hour, like me sesh, because my husband was home and he could take the baby or my parents were here or whatever. And she's just like, other days, like I said, it was like 20 minutes and I just did it whenever. And she goes, I'm starting to feel like myself and I'm starting to resemble physically some version of myself. Right. And she was just so, you can take that. So she was, and you could just feel it in her energy. Okay. This is what it takes in business as well. Okay. It's the exact same thing. It's going to take working on yourself, having the work, like the work that we teach people, you got to do it too. Like it doesn't just like poof, like come from thin air, right? It's not up to anybody else to motivate you to do it. It's up to you to be in the habit of motivating yourself via your goal of service and wanting to help people change their lives. Guys, I swear I'm not this like unicorn. There's some days I'm like, oh, I don't feel like peopling today. I'm not kidding you. That's true. There are times. However, my desire, I then tap into what is my desire. And some days I people more often than not, right? But I'm not kidding you. Like every time I just go, yeah, but if you don't people today, like if you don't interact and serve people, you're not going to help anybody. Like you can't help anybody unless you get out there and just flap your gums. Do your own work and then be the messenger. Nobody gets this through that. Okay. And all it is consistency. And I can tell you, like growing multiple different types of businesses over the last decade, that's all it took. It didn't matter whether it's been my coaching business or my doTERRA business or even the health clubs. It's consistency and persistence and having it come from within you. So my question to you, and I intentionally have our WhatsApp chat called 7 Figure Coaches, whether anybody pays attention to that anymore. I'm planting the seed constantly. Okay. What are the traits of a 7-figure entrepreneur? You know what? I think we should start off.
I'm hoping persistence is way up at the top because
Yeah.
that's something I got going for me, man. Persistence.
Yeah. And I think focus, that being,
Okay. Let's get
responsibility. I think too, like,
before we do this, let's get into state. Okay? Let's get into state because I think that this is deeper than that. Okay? Everybody, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Allow yourself to relax. Let any tension go out of your body. Picture yourself standing in a beautiful office space that you've created for yourself. It's filled with natural light, streaming in from floor to ceiling windows. It's vibrant. In this space, you feel a sense of calm, confidence. Over against the wall, you have a full-length mirror. I want you to walk over to it and look at yourself. The outfit that you are wearing today makes you feel so powerful, yet approachable. You can feel your confidence radiating through you. Now look around this office space. It's organized, it's sleek. It reflects the clarity that you have in your mind. On your desk, you have an open laptop. And it's showing you your dashboard filled with 7-figure numbers, a reflection of your abundance that you've created. You see a list of clients waiting for your services. Take a minute and just breathe that in. Breathe in the satisfaction. You've created this. You see your neatly organized planner beside your laptop, and it's filled with goals and inspired action steps for you to take today. Each page represents the dedication and the focus that you've had up until this point. And when you turn to what was once the blank wall in your office, you see it's filled with motivational quotes and sticky notes, all the things that deeply resonate with you. They're reminders of how far you have come. They're not just symbols of your wealth, but of the impact that you have made, the lives that you've touched, the growth that you've experienced. Next to it, you have a whiteboard, strategically placed. On it are some goals that you've already achieved. Others are in progress, but you smile, knowing that you are in full control of your destiny. Feel the warmth in your heart as you acknowledge your journey. Every challenge, every victory. You're not just building a business. You're creating a life of meaning, influence, continuous growth. You're a leader, an innovator, someone who's always evolving. Take a deep breath in. Feel the gratitude for all you have achieved. As you exhale, know that the vision is not just a possibility, it's your reality. And it's living, it's a living thing, and it's actually expanding every day. Now open your eyes. And tell me how you would describe a 7-figure business owner.
Someone who's confident, dedicated, focused on what they've achieved and where they're continuing to go.
Okay.
And I think, as Michelle had said before, it's the persistence too. That is always, it never leaves your mind. That is where your persistence and your focus and your responsibility is.
Okay. Takes responsibility.
Like I just think it's just what you visualize or think about all the time. Like, and I know that I can be with family and different things, but I think that is where you should be thinking all the time. You know,
Yep.
You have to also be disciplined.
yeah,
You you need to be in love with what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was interesting. My wall was full of testimonials of how I've helped people. And that was because a big driver for me is recognition. So I'm
Yep.
using it to my advantage right now. Right? So I'm going to use it as a motivator, right? I want those amazing testimonials. And being in love and with what it is you're doing, and that that feeling of service, that level of
yeah,
service.
yeah. I think that's where I was just coming from too, is to know that you're helping and serving others, and that's what helps us to grow. So,
Yep.
I mean,
And I
to
think
be
that
able to
Michelle,
visualize in that office and to know that you've helped so many individuals and so many others are wanting to your service is, I, I would say it's inspirational.
Yep. So you're inspired.
motivated. I think Michelle had said that when she was talking there about motivated to serve others.
Yep.
And the passion. You have to have that passion also.
Yep.
I was thinking driven, but that feels so aggressive, right? Like I'm driven to do that. It just feels so aggressive. It's to me, it goes back to service. I keep thinking service.
Yeah,
Am
and
I
I
in
think
love
too
with the
we're
service I'm providing? Because if you don't even like your own product, how can you sell it?
well, and you don't do it well, right? That's the
No.
thing. I mean, and I think on that driven part, like I was thinking that accountability and responsibility, and I think some of that comes through with the nature of what the three of us or four of us have done before in our lives, right? But there is still that element of responsibility. Like now that I've created this business and I have this clientele, there is that level of responsibility to be there for them and to serve.
What about your responsibility to continue to grow yourself?
I that's I think that's a major part. I mean that when you don't grow yourself, then you settle, right? And how can you grow your business if you're not growing yourself and your level of awareness?
Yep.
And I think for me, my business will grow from knowing that I've helped others and inspired others. Like that's always been part of who I am, although I likely never really took time to think about it a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's important that we have to continue to grow our own awareness because
Yeah.
we're not perfect and we're not meant to be perfect, but we're always progressing, right? So we might hit that version 2, but then there's going to be a version 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
I never know how many versions you're going to be, but inspiring yourself. Yeah. Before you
How
can
does
inspire other people.
how does a 7-figure coach, just a 7-figure business owner, right? Just in general, how do they spend their time?
Well, for me, I would think too that I would have a team and a mastermind that I I engage with, I would say daily or often, right? So you would have that, and then oh, I lost my train of thought, which I had so many going on at once there. How would I spend my day? I think for me, it would be to like I'm a people person, so I would need to know that my clients that their services are being met, but at the same time, I would always have to be looking at ways to better myself, to better my business. So I think
Okay. So you've
yeah,
got a team basically ensuring that even parts of your business are running when
yes.
it's just running.
Like I don't want to have to micromanage it, but I want to have a team that I know that things are going along like they should. Um, and and that we're looking at new and innovative ways to move the business.
Okay.
Like you need to have a team that you can trust and know that they have a way of like I think for me, and I'm digressing into my way of being in the corporate world. I had visions or I was visionary, but there was times when I wasn't as analytical or the doer of things. So I would need to surround myself with people that will help keep me even though I visualize, I need to take inspired action and they'll keep
Yep.
me moving in that way.
Okay.
I think they spend their time thinking. thinking of ways to improve their business, how to streamline things for
Yeah.
clients. What programs can I offer? What else how else can I help my clients? What can I do? So kind of tapping back to what you were saying about personal growth is extremely important. I mean, we are number one in our own life, right? We have to take care of ourselves, but we also have to continue to grow and evolve our business as well. It can't stay stagnant. It has to grow.
No.
It has to shift, right? You either
Yeah.
create or disintegrate.
Right. And I think too that you really do have to take time to do that self-reflection and, you know, to really know who you are and your self-image. And there are times when you, I would even think as a seven-figure business owner that you do need to reflect to make sure that you're still being true to yourself as you're growing and changing and doing this. Like, yeah.
Okay.
And I think also like building relationships, like connecting with people,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
connection, communication, especially if you have like other people on your team, like you always have to, communication is key. Sharing your
That's a big
vision.
point. Yeah, that's a big point, Denise. That relationship building and communication, it's big.
Yep. So, what decisions, how do you make decisions?
Quickly without changing them very slowly.
Okay.
I think I read that in Think and Grow Rich one time.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have a in your visualization, there was a long list of people waiting for your services. How did they get there?
Word of mouth. Again, I have a wall of testimonials.
Yep.
People are talking, right?
Yep.
Well, that's what this world's based on, right? Referrals
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for everything.
Referrals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having, I think again, it's crucial to understand marketing.
Yep.
Well, it's the
Marketing
marketing
is
and
like, nobody is going to know who you are unless you're marketing something. You're marketing yourself. You're marketing your program.
and I think too, even to have the team keep up with that, because marketing is changing like as we're talking right now, right? Or as we're speaking. I mean, at one time everybody had a website and you went to websites, and I still go to websites, but now it's all about apps, right? Like we have an app for everything. So, and how convenient is that? So it's about, and to being able to keep up on all that, and then to really think or focus on what part of that suits your personality or way of being the most to do that. And
Yep.
I guess I'm using this just as a this is a good talk for me because you know, for 30 years my paradigm and the way I did my work was to not be on social media platforms, to be sort of out of that limelight from a privacy perspective. And now I'm trying to figure out how to throw myself into that. And I say throw, but you know, how to do that and which way to go. And yeah, and where is my focus going to be, because there's so many. And I find, you know, having the younger kids in the house, like, you know, I thought I was really on board with Snapchat, but there's already two or three other Snap or chat places that they're going now. That well, this one we use for our best friends, and this one is just, you know, for everything. And this, so I'm like, ugh. So
Yep. So, do you as the business owner have to know everything about everything?
No. And once I kind of quickly just answered to myself, no, I don't know if you heard that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay, Michelle. I said no because I mean, how can we know everything about everything? And that's why we have good relationships with the people that have connected with us, like our mindset group that can help us. You know, we're not just serving people, people are serving us too.
Right.
That was my initial thought anyways.
And I was on the same wave as Denise. My initial thought was no. I mean, I sure don't want to have to micromanage, and I there's things that, how does it go? What we know, and what we don't know. So, but it was the same thing. There's no, I don't know that I would know everything, but that's why we rely on our teams and our mastermind.
I would say a general awareness.
Yeah.
I would say I would need a general awareness. I don't need to know all the details. I need to know some of the language that you're
Yeah.
speaking so that when you're talking to me, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't need to know all the ins and outs of it, but I need to have a general awareness so that I know that you know what you're doing.
Yeah. You don't want to have to micromanage it, right?
Absolutely
You want to know
not.
that.
No,
Yeah.
been there.
Yeah.
Been the recipient of that.
Yeah.
I was going to say too, something about a 7-figure entrepreneur needs or ought to have is a real alignment with your brand.
Yep.
And again, I'm going back to staying in your own lane. Right? You can't be everything to everybody. So what is your niche? I'm really starting to understand that how important that niche is.
Yep. So knowing who your client is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I want you guys to get clear on this. Okay. Because it's be, do, have. Be the person who has a 7-figure business. How do they spend their time? Like for me, what I think of as like, and it's right in my life script, like all the things that, like moving from corporate into being an entrepreneur, there were a whole new set of skills that I had to develop. Because I mean, really, when I was working at the hospital, there were some days, maybe it was like, oh, I was in meetings all day and I didn't feel like I did a whole lot, but they still paid me. I still got my paycheck every 2 weeks. Right. And then there were some days where I was like giving her, planning all the things, totally doing income producing activities for them. Right. And I would get paid every 2 weeks. It just came. Okay. So there were habits that I had to shift because if I wanted that paycheck every 2 weeks still, the work was going to look different, but the same. Either way, I'm still serving people. I served there, but I made them money. And I serve here, but I'm making myself money. Right. There were also a lot of traits that I had to carry over. And one of the biggest ones for me, again, and this is knowing my own, guys, know what you value. Like, what is your own mission, vision, and values? Like every organization has them, but what is yours? What do you value? For me, I know 2 of my biggest values are trust and communication. 2 of my biggest values. Like if I trust a process or trust a person, you're in. The process is in and I will work it. I will work it and I will teach people about it and I will do all the things, right? Trust is a big one and communication. And whenever, and I know I've said this, like I say this all the time to people, because I know for me, when I'm not communicated with, I'll automatically feel the friction because I'm like, because I value it so much, right? So I knew I had to bring over, okay, for me, what does trust mean? Like, so this is where I'm just walking you through what I do because I want you guys to do it for you, okay? For me, when I trust somebody or trust a process, it does what it says it's going to do. By the end of this process, you're going to get this. Does it deliver every time? Like the one thought away process delivers every time. I trust it. I trust it. I know it. Every time. Okay. So your systems, whether you're coaching people through a paradigm shift or whether you've created a system that you're like, it works every time. Do you trust it? Do you trust the people that you're working with? Do you trust the people that you have in your life right now? And for me, for trusting, I'm like, a big one is, and this is something that I had to bring over by myself, is you do what you say you're going to do. For me, I have to bring over, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Like, and I mean it. And I want people to know that I do what I say I'm going to do. Because I need to know that I do what I say I'm going to do. Because if I can't trust myself, I'm screwed. Because it's such a big value of mine. Literally, like it's probably my number one thing is trust. So if I'm like, when I think of like a 7-figure earner that's getting referrals, that has a wall full of testimonials, that, or in my case, like my vision of a 7-figure earner, like she doesn't even really have an office. Like her office is like the beach or wherever she's working, the coffee shop, wherever she's working that day. Like in my mind, that's what it means. Because that's what means something to me. So I link these images to being a 7-figure earner.
And that's put in your life script too then, Delane,
It's
'cause you
in my
mentioned
life script. It's in my life script. Yep. Because, and I have in there constantly, because I do what I say I'm going to do. Because the moment I don't show up for an intention that I've set, because I've done it before, I automatically will feel the friction and I automatically will hear Linda going, see, even if it's like once in a blue moon, she will pop her head in there to make sure I know it. Every time. And I will feel this friction. And I don't like feeling that kind of friction, like the preventable friction. There's like the unpreventable, like the discomfort you feel when you're going for a goal that you've never gone for before, that you're like, holy crap, what am I even doing right now? There's that friction. And then there's we could have totally prevented this from happening. Right? So as a 7-figure, again, I want you guys tapping into, who do you need to be? Because your to-do list and like even the doing, yeah, I love what you guys have, like I've captured some of these things. Like, how do you spend your time? What are you focused on? Yes, you're persistent, but what are you persistent in? Some business owners are literally like persistent in doing nothing for their business. They're persistent, but they're dedicated, they're focused on doing nothing in their business. I literally was chatting with someone the other day and they had that aha moment and they were like, well, didn't you say persistence was important? I said, sure did. I don't know if it's really what I'm referring to. But you're persistent. Okay. But again, this is where you go back to, you got to know. And Michelle, you pointed out, who are you here to serve? And what are you doing every day to build energy around that service? And it doesn't mean, that you can't do that from a walk with your dog or from a kayak or from a campsite or from a beach in my case, or you can do it from anywhere. And it doesn't always look like being on a meeting or sitting on like, I don't want to have meetings just to have meetings. There's nothing I hate more than meetings just to say that we met. But I think it's important to intentionally gather to build energy around the mission. And trust me, my desire for this whole group is that you get to experience the experience of it being a 7-figure coach. Because it's awesome. It's awesome. Nothing like it. So whatever I can do to continue to help you to move down that road, that honestly becomes my goal. But I want you to, and I'm going to put this in the chat, this exact question. Describe a 7-figure coach. Who are they? Who are they? How do they walk? How do they talk? Maybe they're an 8-figure coach. How do they spend their time? Who do they spend their time with? What are they studying? When they come to a mastermind and get given pure gold nuggets, do they take them and use them? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Do they trust themselves? Are they confident? Are they focused? Are they persistent? Do they take responsibility? Are they disciplined? Are they in love with their mission? They offer that next level service. Are they inspired? Are they passionate? Okay, like who is this person? And every day, set an intention to be her. Make decisions like she makes decisions, from where she makes decisions. Even if it doesn't make sense for you to go to the beach today and you want to go to the beach, go to the beach. Your version of Linda is going to tell you that you can't work from the beach, but you can. You sure can. Oh, going to the beach is only for when we're with a friend and have a cerveza in our hand. That's not true. You get to work from where you want, when you want, with who you want. Period. Under any circumstances that you want. But your circumstance, you got to be her first. And make an intention to build that energy around it. Cool. Dave Miller, hi.
Hey, hey.
Hi.
Hi everybody. Can you stop the recording and start a new one?
Karen, stay on if you can.